Sorry?
That's the sort of thing you can't see for yourself.
That's right, yeah.
Right, so bang in the middle then.
Yeah, in the bullseye of the dartboard. Now, stay there a second. You're on about the 25. So you need to come up to about there, to the centre of the ball.
All right.
Okay. That's it. That's about centre now.
Yeah, I can see that now you said it.
Yeah.
That's weird, that looks like the centre to me, but it's below centre, isn't it?
Yeah, that is below centre. Yeah. Now, this might change the way you deliver the cue. I'm very interested to see. Sometimes it does.
Right. Shall I go up and down again like that then? In case. So do you want me to play the shot again?
Oh yes, yes, please, yeah. But look that little bit higher, so that you are a little bit higher.
Yeah. Actually.
Now, let me just check. Do you know how to raise or lower the tip?
Yeah, lift the hand up and down.
Yeah, just literally do that or that. Never lift at the back or drop at the back. Just draw the fingers up, which pushes up to there, or flatten them down to get to there. Okay? That's better. Yeah, that's better. Okay. No. Very good. Very good. Haven't seen that before. I've been coaching over 40 odd years. I've never seen anyone come in for a first lesson that can hit the centre response. Plus one. Plus one. Right, okay, that's good. Right.
Tomorrow I might not be able to do that for my life, that's the trouble.
Well, a lot can depend on how you feel on the day. You know, if you feel good, it's all easy. If you feel bad or something's happened, it's distracted you. It's a mental thing, really. If your concentration gets affected by something that's happened before or the day before, then your mind's not fully on this. So you can't then sort of focus your mind entirely on what you're doing. Many good players, I say to them, don't you start your day by going up and down the spots a few times? No. I say, well, how do you know you're striking the centre of the white then? Oh, well, all right then. And I'll bet you 8 out of 10 of them find they're not striking the centre of the cue ball. So they're throwing a little bit aside on the white, which on these tables, which the pros play on all the time, throws it miles.
Yeah, I noticed. I played here last month.
Yes.
First time I played on these tables actually, and I didn't. Yeah, you don't realise quite how much deflection you get on this table compared to a normal one.
Ordinary cloth, yeah.
So normal shots, I found I need to reprogram my head to stop playing shots with side for no reason.
Yeah.
You know, if I'm not using a cushion or
But
something.
again, playing shots with side, it's a question of how you play it with side. If you deliver the cue wrong, you'll throw it miles offline. If you deliver the cue correctly, it doesn't go too far. It'll always go offline. You can't avoid that, but not as much. Okay, now, just get down again a minute. All right, now stay there for me a second. I can't do this if it's a lady. Just want to see what your balance is like. Well, that's good. You're central. That's okay. Yeah. Well, I'm not going to play around with your stance. Okay? It's good, it's wide, the right foot's in the right place, the left foot's in the right place. You're well and truly solid there. Even though it's wide, it'd be silly for me to play around with it. There's nothing wrong with that. You might get people telling you, oh, your stance is too wide. But it's how you feel. Now, if someone said to you, okay, stand up without moving your feet. Okay, that's all right, yeah, don't worry about the cue for a minute. Now, theoretically, they would say, right, that left foot is too far over there. Bring it into about there. Okay, and that's the same position, but nearer. Okay, now, get down on your shot again, because you should be able to. Yeah. Now again, people say, well, your foot's too far forward, your foot's too far back. But you're messing around with something that doesn't need touching. Does that feel comfortable to you?
I feel like my left leg's very bent.
Yeah,
there.
yeah, see that from here. Yeah.
And like I've got quite flat feet,
Yeah.
so my feet want
It's
to
almost
swing
weakened.
inwards.
It's almost weakened your left leg. This is why. The way you've got it, you've got yourself in a good solid triangle, which is 2 feet, and your bridge hand. I wouldn't touch it.
Okay.
Don't. Well, if it ain't broke, don't mend it. You know. Okay, right. So we'll come down to the centre of the table a minute. We'll just check on the basic shots. Right. Get these out on the table. Are you okay with run through, stun and screw?
Well, I think I am.
Alright, that's okay then, yeah.
There's actually something I've kind of, I don't seem to get a lot of reverse side when you try and do a screw with reverse
Screw
side.
shot, yeah. Yeah. The trouble is, a lot of people treat it as different from any other shot, and it's not. This is where the problem starts. So,
Right, like
if you think of a screw
cube
shot
bit.
as being different from any other shot, you've created your first problem. But it isn't. You know, you never see pros actually play a screw shot unless they're playing a power screw. Then, of course, it's different. But the essential thing on all shots, unless the two balls are close together, is that you do follow through that cue ball. So we come down here. Let's put you here a minute on the straight red. Okay. And just, no real power, just pop the red with follow through on the cue ball. Should we go the other way? Good. Now, you worked there to do that. Okay? Don't hit the ones. Just push it. It's not a foul stroke. People say, well, that's no, it's not a foul stroke. If you push it correctly, you can't hit it twice. Only if it comes back at you can you catch it twice. Okay? So from the back here, don't go in quick. Okay? Go in slower and knock. Okay? So it's more of a push than a hit. The white goes just as far. Okay? Now you don't work on that. You're letting the weight of the cue pivot in from your elbow, just come through. And actually stroke them. And you wouldn't strike that any harder to screw back. Okay? Right. Now let me see you play a stun shot. This is exactly the same as a follow through in a different spot on the white. That's all. Okay? That's it. No work. And again.
And again.
Good. Now, if you're somewhere one day and you, as you say, you're playing crap, okay, set this up, get down for it a minute, I'll show you what you can check. Now, I want you to look down at the pocket, your pocket nearest you, and see if your cue is over the centre of that pocket. Just a fraction of it. See? Now, it may be that this is not dead straight.
I think that's where it should. No, okay. It's just
So your cue is obviously a fraction off line there. Okay? Yeah, that is not dead straight. That white should go a whisker that way. That's it. Yeah, now we've got a straight one. See what difference that makes to where your cue arrives over the centre of the pocket. Now if you look down now,
pretty close to the middle,
it's
isn't it?
virtually dead centre. And that over a distance could make the difference to where your cue ball arrives. Because that is what we call cueing across the line. When you play a shot like this, think of playing it from here. See, this part of your arm here now, if you take this bit here, this governs the speed. That gives you the speed. This gives you what kind of reaction you want. So you've got to strike the ball right from the back. And it's an easy method to remember it. If I do this. Okay, now. It is what I call my ABC method. This is point A, and we'll say that's where you draw the cue back to, which would be a little bit further. You draw your cue back to here. B is the cue ball, C is where the cue has to finish. But you have to make sure that you go from A straight through to C, as if that ball's not even there. You can't go in and go like that, that's no good. You can't avoid doing that, you see. But if you go to C, it doesn't come back at you. You powered your way through the ball. You must be accelerating through that ball. And a lot of people accelerate at it, not through it. So it helps again if when you're ready to strike the white, you look at the red and you think of sending your cue at the red. Okay? So we'll take those away. That's just a simple, you know, if somebody comes through on the phone to me and say, well, somehow I can't get the reaction of the ball, I just say, well, put your A to C test up. And it cures it very quickly then, because that's what they're not doing. They're not going through the ball. Okay? So here you see, you pick a spot on the white, try and get an A to C delivery, and see. Now this is where we break the rule, which is never follow the cue ball with your eyes. You should always follow the red to the pocket. But here, we'd like to know where that ball hits the cushion over there. So it has to be a little bit difficult to do. You have to be striking the white, looking at the red, and the minute the white takes off the red, you have to follow the white and see where it hits the cushion. Okay? And that's quite a wide angle there for going around the table. Right, let's see what happens. If you like, no harm in sort of saying, well, right, A to C. See how far through you've got to get it to go down. But if it goes like that, that's you're putting brakes on. Okay then. Slow backswing, then accelerate. So we see that that one struck about there. Okay. Okay. Now we can put the shot back exactly as it was. Red on the spot. Your white back there, one ball's width away. And we bring this round to here. So now you're going to pay careful attention to striking the cue ball a little bit higher. And we'll see what happens. But always remember, the cueing should never tell anybody what you're doing. Okay? Right. So the first thing you check is that the position on the cue ball is that little bit different. And you see it hit the cushion in a different place.
Yeah, just inside it.
Came in here, which is more like what you're looking for. And everybody has to find the spots on the white ball that enable them to do what they want. So that one came into there, which will take you nicely around the colours. Now, you notice the cue ball didn't travel as far that time.
No.
Because the place for acceleration on the white is where you struck it first. That's what we call the meat of the cue ball. When you come up high, you get to a thinner part of the ball. So you don't seem to get the same grip out of it.
I suppose more of the energy is spinning the white than it is propelling it forwards.
Yeah. So what you do is, instead of trying to hit the ball harder, you try to get more follow-through. And see if that helps you to increase the pace of the shot. Without effort, really. Okay? So let's see what happens then if we try and increase the follow-through from the delivery. got a little more pace. So that told you you actually struck it lower than you intended. But you are around the table. That's the main thing. Yeah. Power, I relate power to speed. Because I found over the years, if I show you sideways, you'll see what happens. If someone plays a shot, okay, and I say, no, I want more power, okay, then they will do this. And I say, no, I want more power. If you watch the tip every time, you'll see this happen. More power, more power. And it just keeps stopping dead. But if I say, you've done that, I want more speed, right? More speed, more speed. And it's going further and further. But it's not going to do. Because when you go to power, you grip the cue too tight. And that we don't want. Okay? So every shot basically becomes the same, except some shots you'll change the length of the feather, because you don't want much reaction out of it, so there's no point in, you know, if you're playing that, all you want to do is stop the white there to go on the blue. You don't want a backswing back here, you only want a backswing to about there, and just, as long as you make sure that you push through that ball, it'll rotate backwards or whatever you want it to do. Finding the right spot is often where the work comes in. So that you play your pot, the white goes to a certain place. And the more confident you get about that, the more you can apply your interest to the pot.
Yeah, I think I've been making a fundamental error here. I think I've been adjusting the way to strike the cue ball to control it rather than adjusting where I strike it and hitting the same.
Yeah, yeah. So we'll just do a little exercise here then, okay? So again, you can do this in a club, put all the balls like that there. And again, we'll start just to the side there. And you put, again, a ball there so as you start in exactly the same place. Now, the positions that are obtainable is anywhere from about there to about here. From one through down the screw. No change in the power. Well, little change in the power, little change in the cue speed. You get it to come back here a bit more. Okay? But you literally start up high enough to make it run through, and just gradually you work your way down the tip until you reach the bottom. And everyone, you've almost got to get a mechanical feel about it. I don't like the word mechanical or robotic, but in some cases it's got to be close to it. Because if you find a system or a drill that works for you, then you've got to stick to it. And then you start playing around with it, it's trouble. You know, I get some people in and they cue the pupil fraction to one side or the other center, but they pop extremely well. Now, if I was silly, I would try and get them into the middle of that cue ball. But if I do, that changes every pot they play, which is a nightmare then. Suddenly a good potter can't pot the ball. And as long as the cue ball, as long as two things are happening, excuse me, as long as the object ball's gone in the pocket and that cue ball is going where it should go, why change it? No problem is there really to change it. It's not affecting anything. If there are certain things they can't do, then we've got a different situation. They're doing everything and they just need to get more consistent with it then. So you can't, my saying is sometimes you've got to throw the book out the window. Whatever the book says, throw it out the window. There's no mistake. We're human beings, we're not robots and machines. Human beings, we all got our little quirks and things that we do. So first of all then, I'd like you to play me just a quiet run through shot. I'll take these over to the other side here a minute. Okay? So as the cue ball finishes round about here somewhere. Okay? There we are. Very good. And as I say, your delivery should feel the same. That's the first thing you need to get to improve your game. And then you would practice this from that side, and then over here, from this side and that side. They all look a little different, but they are the same. And take some doing to get one in.
Yes, I'm thinking where I should go. Oh, okay.
So just keep working your way down slowly at the moment, okay? So you've already got 6 in there. Yep, you're not touching the other red. So you've got one in there. And when you come to the start the backwards movement of the cue ball, you just got to push through a little bit more. That's all. Same as the last one. That's it. And another spot. That's it, just there. So now we're getting down into the bottom of the ball now. That's all right. No. On that line there, put a red in there. Yeah, just in here where it's in line with the rest of it. That's okay. Now you've got a nice gap to have a go at. Very good. Bring a bit of colour into the line. Right. Very good again. Yeah. Have a go at the gap if you like. Good effort. You made about half a ball difference there. Very good adjustment. Okay. And because you've only got 2 hours, okay, you get the idea.
Yeah.
But then what you do is you put the white back, and now you're playing cannon them out one at a time.
Right now, I see.
Knock them out one at a time. Okay? And if you do that both sides, again, if we put the white ball there, and someone said 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, you can get in there 12, and you'll probably get there as well 13. Show me 13 different positional shots from that angle. You'll probably be, well, the heck, get 13 out of that. 6 or 7, but 13. Just shows. See? And if I say to lots of good players that struggle with position, I say, okay, imagine that's the base of the table. The ball sat on the base. Okay, there. Between there and there, okay, this is about as low as you could go, between there and there. How many different positions would you say you could strike that cue ball in? And they give me 5, 6. I say, we'll try 10 at least. What? I say, yeah. Otherwise you've got to use power when you shouldn't be using power. You're forcing the cue ball instead of stroking it into a position. But it's just surprising not how many different positions you could strike that. And then by changing the power of fraction, you could create a different reaction altogether.
Yeah.
But if you know exactly, with practice, where to strike that cue ball and relax about it, makes the game.
Yeah, that's definitely only up, down, left and right. That's how
Yeah.
we're aiming for.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, I'd like you to get a cue by the side of the white for me a moment. And I'm going to place my hand over yours because we're going to talk about hand pressure on the dot now, okay? Right, so my hand is like this, and I'm just going to move the cue. I want you to feel how much pressure I've got. Much pressure there?
No.
So I'm working from here, you see? So now we backswing, no change. Now we squeeze all the way through. There. So you can feel you're still accelerating through that white. And you don't grab, because that'll stop it dead. You squeeze. And the minute the cue starts, you use your fingers to push it straight through the ball. And that will increase your control and reaction of the cue ball over a distance. Help to stop it easier by making it backspin faster. Okay? And that hand, as I say, only works on the way into the cue ball, except one exception, and that's a power screw. Where, because you're accelerating much faster through the cue ball, we close the hand slightly on the way back. So we've got a slight pressure there on the way back, and then power through the ball. And you should be striking, I'm pretty sure you are, you should be striking with those two first. And that the others just follow.
Yeah, I think I kind of, I don't know, it feels like I kind of change with my hand holds over the delivery. Like when I come back, I'll put it over.
That's what it should do. It's doing exactly what it should do.
So when I go forward, I was kind of moving to
Yeah,
like that.
but that's going through far more than you need to. Far more. I found the easiest way to sort of show people what positions the arm should be in is to think of this as a garden swing, okay? Just swinging away there. So obviously, when it reaches here, it's at its slowest. That's the position of the backswing. So now it starts to accelerate. When it gets to about there, it's traveling the fastest. Till it gets to there, then it starts to slow down. The secret is to keep that speed going. So instead of letting it swing like that, we actually sort of make it do that. So not force it, but just accelerate it. And around the top of the table, especially when you need little screw shots, little stun shots with no power, the fingers do the work for you. But every ball that you pot, you should feel you pot it from your elbow. The hand only gives you the reaction. See, the hand is a ball joint. It can twist all over the place, but this can't. So we use that to keep it nice and straight, and you just squeeze a bit more, or not so much, as you get a feel of the shots there. Okay? Right. So that sort of has checked the basics for you. Your basics are good. Yeah. Okay. Always make sure you follow through. The only time you wouldn't is if you got that. To pot the green in the middle here, you can't follow through that. You would have to give that, raise the butt and give that a tap downwards to stop you hitting it twice. You don't want it zipping back at you. So you would have a very short backswing there. You'd only have a backswing about that short. So if you had a ball there, you would have a very short backswing. It's not be 4 inches. So you want to change the sort of you need to change the reaction a bit. So if you come, well, not the reaction, sorry. You need to change the angles here. What you're doing is this, all up in the air here. Yeah. So if you raise this, okay, that gets you more on this level. But now you've got to drop both together. And now I'm down touching there, you see. And now I'm going through that ball instead of down into it. Just a question of sort of lowering your backside down a little bit to get that flatter. And drop your hand till your knuckles touch the cushion. Now, that would stun perfectly from there. Okay? That's it. So now we look at the white ball. Now, if we were playing snooker, we've lost the cue ball.
Yeah.
Okay? Right, that's okay. So we put it back again now on the same angle. And we think, now what have I got to do to stop that ball going that far?
It's up there. It's up there.
No.
A bit lower.
Ordinary reaction, lower. Change the spot on the white. Okay? And drop that butt down. That's it. Pace was lovely. Just change the spot on the white. So now it comes to where you want.
Yeah.
And there should be no effort. You should feel all you're doing is controlling the push of that cue through the ball, and you get the ball. Okay? So now we come down to another line. And with practice you learn, in some cases, you just need to squeeze a little bit tighter, because you don't want to hit it harder, but you want to get the reaction out of it. How's the elbow? Is it dropped down?
Not enough. Thought I had, but even that wasn't far enough.
Yeah. Right, so that's too high up the white. Okay. Set the same angle up for yourself.
That's weird. That's like, even though it's not much, it feels like a really significant change. It's dropping
Oh,
away.
it is, yeah.
Yeah.
See, this game, best way I can describe it is this. You're trying to look straight through a cue at a spot on that ball.
Yeah.
But if you're like this, then your cue's going there. Then your eyes will go there. Then without realising it, you've got to lift your eyes to get this angle. It's a bit like shooting a rifle from your hip. You can't really see where it's going. So the idea is to get the body down until almost the chin is touching the cue. But in some cases, you can cheat. You can bring the cue up instead of dropping it down there. But you see, you're up there. This is your normal place would be, and then you do this, which isn't good because you're going to miss cue. The flatter we get back,
Actually, I do
more
miss cue a
chance.
fair amount of times. So
Sorry?
I do miss cue a fair amount and backswing, so that's probably why, isn't it?
Yeah, because you're not going through the ball. You're going a tiny bit and digging underneath it. Okay. All right. So we need to go lower down the white then. Okay. That's it down there. Yeah. And just cue through it. And it doesn't take the firmness away. You can still play the shot nice and firm, but you've got more backspin on it, so it'll stop it slipping away so much. You see? Okay. This one's getting a little bit straighter, because as we get nearer to the black, this is your potting line here. You don't want to be crossing that line there. You've got to stop too accurately. You want to be crossing it up here. Again, it's a little screw shot. Now squeeze your fingers. Good. Now that's a stun shot.
Yeah, it's a screw shot.
Instead of a screw. You got there okay, but that's worked. Okay? And the reason for it is that when you deliver the cue here, you can't avoid doing that. You see where that tip finishes?
Yeah.
But if I'm here, it goes straight through there. It won't come up. And if you start up in the air, it'll scoop and come up in the air.
You notice how big my hand is in terms of that, because I used to be able to do like that.
Not
Now
big.
I've got a flat
Yeah.
ball and I'm used to.
Yeah. Now you've got a good bridge there. Yeah. That's better. That's what we want. Now just for a change here, take the black on. You know you've got to screw back. That's good, that's not so bad now. Oh,
Slopes of that one, I didn't feel it.
that's all right. So, yeah. Now again, remember when we're changing technique, it does affect things.
Yeah.
So at the moment, I don't worry if you miss a pot or two. Nothing to worry about. As long as you see that, it looked like that was easy for you to do. Bring that white ball back there.
Yeah.
So therefore, the more confidence you get in that, the more you'll be able to concentrate on getting the black into the pot.
What have we been doing this one? This one's kind of in that way there.
Yeah. Never think you need to use side on the ball for an angle. Okay. It does help it on certain shots. Okay. But the trouble is that if you tend to use side, if you play on this cloth, you get one reaction. If you play on a club cloth, you get a totally different reaction. So you're guessing.
Yeah, I know.
If you stick to the middle of the ball, you're not guessing.
I noticed I was missing. I'd have something like a pink there, and I'd try and stun it with a bit left hand side for no reason, and then I'd throw the pink off to the right on this
Right.
on these
Yeah.
tables, and I'm not used to that. So yeah, I'm not that bad.
Any time when you're in practicing and you're on your own, if you get down this side on the ball, just ask yourself, well, wait a minute, do I need side here? And we don't, because we'll show you a bit later on there that you can change the path of the cue ball to something that seems like it should have side to make it do it, but it doesn't need it. Okay? Right, okay then, so let's take your black one again. Okay, and in there. That's better. Yeah, we're getting there. Good. There we are. Right. Now let's see what kind of a shot we're going to play here to get onto the black.
Ordinarily, I'd start on the cushion, but
What would you normally play?
I'd stun kind of to about there. Or stun to about there.
Stun to the cushion.
We're going to say I would do a magical screw shot.
Oh no. You could get on it by being out here, and out there, but why do that?
I wouldn't do that because it's quite straight on the get a physical angle. So
Yeah. So again, pick a spot on the white that you think will give you the angle you need, and pop the red and see what happens to
yeah,
it.
trying to play that was trying to come really close to the black and play it with side, but I probably don't need to do that. Probably
No
go a
side
little bit
being
wider.
If you play it with side, you're going to use left-hand side.
Yeah.
Before you know it, you're on the cushion, and you want to be up here. So it's just enough stun to what you think is to miss the black with. Just push your way through. Doesn't matter if it's gone too high. To correct that, you go a fraction lower. But if you sort of find a system that is working, okay, you can then sort of start to use a little bit more control of the speed of the shot. At the moment you're playing the speed that you're just what you would normally use, you see. But anytime you play these, if you're playing them with side, you've got to be ever so careful because you'll finish on the cushion or you'll finish here, which is, you know, not very good. Okay. Take a look at this pink into the middle a moment. Okay. Now, what would you do to get on the black here?
Probably play with, probably run it on the cushion and put it
You don't need to. It's a little screw shot. Now here, you want the reaction of the screw, but you don't want any speed. So you would squeeze the cue just a little bit tighter with your fingers as you push through the wire. But straight away, whenever you do an exercise, you're also looking at it as a way to start break building. Okay? So in all break building, you look at the table first and you see, as soon as you can, you want to get rid of certain balls. Okay? So which would be the first ball to get rid of for you here? You can put the white wherever you want it to.
You can probably do one under the black.
Yeah. That's not as good as another one.
I was thinking also that one.
That's the one you should take. Because that one's a much easier pot than that one. And if you get rid of that one, now you've got a gap. Just get a gap there as quick as you can. So that's the one to get rid of first of all. Now you set your white up now, and on the strange table you will play just a little run-through shot to start with. So this is where it gets difficult. You give you the choice of where to put the white, but you want a slightly low black. You know what I mean, low black. You want slightly low black. So you need to know where to put the white to give you that position on the black.
Just off straight,
Yeah.
so the white would go in that
Correct.
direction.
Yeah. Yeah. Again, you've always got to be very careful with run throughs. Okay, very low black. Very low black. Yeah. It's still on, you can still hold it.
Yeah,
Okay.
just
But
that's
that's
me
what I
being
mean
used to
about-
getting more stun out of the shot when trying to keep it more level. I think.
Yeah. But there, see, a shot like this, you have to control the cue much more than you did on this. So your control has to be sort of just enough like that, not sort of over there, and leaving myself just a nice angle, and I've got that so I can get rid of this red. And I try and stay sort of, that's about the middle between the ball and the cushion. You want to try and keep the white, if you can, on this line here when you're doing the line up, so that you've got plenty of room to get your hand on the table and do what you want with the cue ball. Okay? So set yourself up again on your red. That's about it. Yeah, yeah. And a controlled push. Cue. Oh, that's okay. Now, why do you think it stopped?
So we go through the white properly.
You cued the cue ball in the wrong place. You actually had bottom on that cue ball. Okay? Again. Your tip must be above the centre of the ball. A little bit higher. That's it. Nice soft push. That's it. Now you've got a nice position on there. So we come around here. Now, you've got no idea what you've got until you get here. So once you get here, step one is to work out what you're going to do with the cue ball. Okay? Obviously, playing for one of these two reds is going to leave yourself a difficult pot. So to me, it's either a screw back out here or a stun across there. You have to make your mind up completely which one you're going to choose to do before you go any further. Okay? Once you've done that, your second job is to see the pot from here. Okay? And when you're ready, you pick your cue up in your right hand, you step in looking at the black. Because that's how you pot, is it? Seeing a spot on the black?
Yeah, I suppose so.
Yeah. But there's got three different methods of potting. One is, the general one is people see something on the black they want to hit. The other one is the eclipse method, where people picture the cue ball sat on top of the black and they can plant it in the pocket. I've tried that, I can't do it. And the third one is people see an angle. And I can't do that either.
No, I suppose I'll just see.
I see something on the black which tells me that's what I want to hit. Okay. But if ever you want to sort of be able to improve your concentration, once you pick the spot on the black, your job is to hit it. And if you're right, it'll go in the pocket. But people don't, they just try and pop the ball. But you've got to sort of narrow that down. The ball's a big thing. But the part we hit is tiny. So we tend to focus more on the spot on the black than anything else. Okay? So first of all then, what are we going to do with the cue ball here?
I think normally, if I was knocking about, I'd probably stun across the face that red.
That's the one.
But
Yeah.
I'm feeling that confident at the moment, so I would think more like I would be better. Might be better screwing across this way, but
Right.
I don't know, I'll go with what I normally go with to
Yeah, that's it.
I'd also play that on the tiny bit left hand side as
Ooh,
well, which
no,
is also
yeah,
a bit of an
chuck that with you, don't need
Exactly.
it. Don't need it at all.
Right, okay, we'll go with
No.
that.
You need a line somewhere between the centre of the ball and number 6 on the clock. Pick a spot somewhere between those two. pop the black and see what happens. But you will never play a stun type shot without working your fingers. A run through, unless you're forcing a run through, you don't need to use your fingers. But a stun or a screw, yes, you do need to use your fingers. So just a little squeeze, just to bite the tip into the ball. Okay? And your job now is to pop it out. Good. There it is across there. Now you come round and see what you've got on this one. And basically, when you're playing what the pros do, like long matches, you switch off the minute the black's gone in the pocket. No point in concentrating while you're walking around the table because you don't know what you've got. So you walk around the table, say, with about 50% concentration. You come here and then, well, that jumps up immediately. But we want somewhere that when you reach the end of the backswing, you're on 100% concentration and then did everything you want. Okay? Now again, yeah, it's one of those things where really you need to go forward, so you've got to be so careful. Because this is, you see, this is the line of the pot here. So your cue ball is crossing that line. You've got to get it sort of just exactly in there somewhere. And if you look at that and think, yes, I can do that, then just a straight run through.
Yeah, I think maybe sometimes I do that, and sometimes I might just probably force it and just come to here or something. But yeah, try it on. That's probably a more cowardly position.
Well, no, you see, if you wanted to force that into position, this side of the table, there, you would have to pop that ball with right-hand side and stun.
Right-hand side?
Yeah, because allowing for the kick of the right-hand side to the left, you would have to aim to the right of the spot you want to hit. And that would then swing that cue ball in like that, which would then help it to come back here. But it's not necessary, it's very dangerous. Yeah. Just a controlled push through the ball is what we do. So this is like a slow motion pop. Short backswing. And that wasn't controlled, that shot. The cue just flew in. Okay. So that there now presents you with a little, not a difficult problem, a little bit of problem, but that there would be so easy. Okay? So there is nothing easy about this game. When you play it right, it's a fantastic game to play. When it's not going right, it drives you crazy. Yeah. So again, you've got no idea what angle you've got. You can guess at it, but there's no point in guessing. Wait until you get round there, and then see. And again, you make your mind up what you're going to do with the white first.
Yes, I think I'd try and play a little stun or that sort of line.
Yeah, a stun shot. But you would play it sort of softly, lower than stun, across the line of the pot. Whereas from the black to here, then you're running at the pot all the way. And that's why we try and do that same from the other side. Okay? But let's take this in. Try to resist the little snatch delivery on this shot. Okay?
So you think I should still be playing out a bit left-hand side?
I wouldn't if I were you. No. I would accept that, you know, if the red goes in the pocket and you get screwed back, you get somewhere around here. We can get on the yellow, okay? But the side would make a lot of difference to what you do with the pot here. I don't force anything. Okay? And now we've got an angle that what we would do with this one would be to screw it back over to there and then down the table. Okay? And as I say, there's not a lot of room there in that pocket, is there? Try that once more.
I think it doesn't live that very well.
Sounded to me like you're a little bit high up the white. Didn't sound the right sound on it. And you need to sort of visualise, instead of coming from here, you need to visualise going slower and longer. Don't accelerate so fast.
Yeah,
Then you got just as far, you see, with less effort. Okay. Now, that's difficult enough to get in there playing ball, let alone trying to do it this side.
yeah.
Right, set him up again then.
Oh, you're quite this time. It's not
You are this time, are you?
yeah, I'm just
Okay. So,
distracting myself.
there's your turn. Slow back swing. Very good. There we are. Right, now if this was in the game, you'd have to look at picture a spot here that you want to hit. And again, the trouble is, you see the cue ball's going across that potting line again.
Yeah.
So it would require quite a lot of control. Okay? Now, let's look at a situation like this one. You are there. Okay. Now from here, okay, the white would come back and it would go out there. But we would help it with a little bit of left-hand side. But we've got to aim the red in a totally different place. Okay? So you would find yourself here aiming the wrong side of a full ball.
Yeah.
Okay? Again, want to use as much of the pocket as we can. Now, you would be cueing through this side of the white and aiming it about there. I'm doing it in reverse, I think. So,
Yeah, could be aiming
yeah,
the other side.
that's right, yeah. We should be aiming this one. I know we're on this side of the ball. That's right. So we'd be aiming that one at that red. Because your white is going to be forced that way. So you have to aim that one. When I get over there, it's in reverse, it's different.
I think I'm aiming to just
Yeah, that's right. You'll be aiming at that corner. Okay, but we'll just screw only a little bit of left-hand side on it. Okay, and the sweeter you hit it, the better. So don't try and force it. The other side on the white. Okay. So come back to it. See if you've got the same angle. And let's have a look where you're cueing the ones here. A little bit more to the left. That's it.
No. I'll explain to you when I get the game first.
And now we're out to give you a chance to get there. But do you understand the theory about what happens with the pot?
Yeah, you get the left-hand side of the white. The white gets squared out that way,
Yeah.
but the sides are slightly straight as the pot as
Yeah.
well.
So here you are on the pink here, and you would play this as a straightforward pot. If you wanted to play it as a screw back with right-hand side, you aim to the right of the pink. Yeah. If you want to play it as a, if you want to play it back with the left-hand side of the ball, okay, so you're going to push it that way, become the left-hand side of the pink. Have a look at that. And picture that, strike it with this side, the white's going to go that side of the full ball. Strike it with the other side, it's going to come this side of the full ball. So you've got to aim the other. It reminds me of Bob Hope film years ago when he was a gunfighter, and they said this fellow, when he goes for his gun, he dips to the left. So watch out if the wind's blowing from the right, because it was hilarious what they were doing to him. But the same sort of theory applies here, you see. And it also applies a lot with the reds. You know, you've got this situation here. And you have landed there on the red. Okay? Sorry. So you have landed there on the black. Okay? And just for practice, screw back the cushion and off with right hand side to take the white back in here. Okay. So your cue ball is going to arrive to the left of what you aim at. So basically from here, make sure that will go, you're aiming sort of here to allow for the reverse side to work. Okay, take that away because that gives you the wrong side completely.
Okay, so you want me to screw back to this side cushion
and onto the red. Let the side take you into the red. Yeah. The better you follow through, the better the shot will work. Getting a bit high under your chin here. Okay. It's a habit that you've got into. Yeah. Control. No side on that one. But something happened to that one, didn't it?
Yeah, I'm sure what.
The delivery was not very good there. You tried to make it all happen instead of possible all. That's right. And you're aiming your black, are you, for about here?
Yeah.
Okay then. All right. Just an ordinary screw shot now.
No side.
Yeah.
With side,
Yeah, yeah. Screwing it back off centre is the way to think of it. Yeah, you're much too high up the cue ball. It's not screwing back.
In my head, I wouldn't expect to even be able to hit the cushion on that shot.
Yeah?
Yeah, so that's obviously my inability.
Yeah, you're striking the white very high. Okay. If you play a stun shot, a lot of people can't get on the black because they're playing the wrong shot. The right shot here is, can you play a stun run through?
Yeah.
Yeah. But the right shot here is a stun run through. And that would get you onto the black without a lot of effort. Because if you play a stun,
You have to really force it.
you're going to send it this way. We don't want that. Stun run through will take it more this way, only a fraction, but it helps the white to run. Okay? Do you ever find it easier to look from red to the pocket first and see exactly where you've got to hit?
I don't know, I don't find it makes a lot of difference.
No? Some people it does, some people it doesn't. Yeah.
I just find I've got to stand behind it. Especially a shot like this is quite straight.
Yeah, so a little stun run through. But it comes out quite easy. But people that stun it, they forget they're bringing the white backwards slightly, and so it's forcing the run. How do you fare on this shot, which is the traditional black, 2 cushions, down to the yellow?
Okay, suppose.
Do you play it?
Yeah, I can do, yes.
Yeah, okay then. So let's put the yellow down. Top blue, from over here. And they want to run the white through and come over here. You'll see the white strike the blue and it will go and then it will accelerate. Have you noticed that?
Yeah.
That's because they're cueing it in a thicker part of the ball, slightly lower than the club tail. Because there's a, same as there is in golf, there is a sweet spot, what you call it, around the cue ball. And basically it sort of runs around this area here. Not on the outside at all, just around there somewhere. And you can make the ball sort of go slowly and then it accelerates away. It's the same as going into the pack. You know, you want the white, if you want the white to come backwards, you've got to go into the pack and almost stop and then take off backwards. Yeah. So there's a thought there. How are you on letting the pack? You know when to screw out the pack, when to stun into the pack?
I don't know when to. It's my problem is probably certainly from the blue. It's just the precision of where to get the pink on.
Yeah, you practice hitting the pink for ball.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like I know what to do, but it's just the execution. I'm pretty confident. I watch hours of something like Ronnie O'Sullivan in the pack, and I kind of can call what he's going to do and how he gets it.
Yeah. I worked for 10 years with Ronnie, from 2000 to 2010. And 5 of those years, it took 5 of those years to get his head and his technique together because he's a one-off. Nobody else I've ever worked with is coach at the game this way. And he looks at the game and he sees the shot that should be played. And he plays it. Doesn't think about what the danger is at all. He just plays it. Because that's the way he plays the game. And this is why now and then you see him take something on, you think, oh, God, what's he doing taking that on? But to him, it's not that whether it's hard or easy. It's the right shot. It's the right shot.
That's why I try and watch him and study what he does, because I always think like that. I feel like his shot selection is as good as anyone's. The way he plays everything is the right shot. So even when he plays something I think, oh, it's a bit risky, like quite often around say a white on tightening cushion and he'll cut a thin red back and something like that. Yeah. But he goes for it because it's winning game.
You know, there's nothing on the table he considers beyond his capabilities. Well, confidence, you know, it's fantastic. Yeah. But you know, he's shown me some shots. When we first started, he said, I used to do this and I used to do that, but all that confidence is gone now. So we started to work on improving his technique a little bit, because he wasn't very good at that time. And quietly started trying to build his confidence up. And he was showing me shots, you know, I thought, well, I never thought of playing that way. He said, I just do that all the time. But I can't do it now. He said, it's frustrating me. But the chappie that's done the real good is this Dr. Steve Peters, the sports psychologist. He's done a fantastic job all around. Because I've never seen Ronnie as happy. Yeah. We spoke on the phone just before the Welsh. And I said to him, I've been watching you on the television. I said, you look so happy and relaxed out there. I said, you look as if you're for the first time for a long time enjoying the game. He said, I am. He said, I don't care what anybody else thinks. I go out there now, I play the way I want to play. And by getting rid of the problem in the head, I can do that. I couldn't do it before. So, as I say, it took a long time to sink him partway along that road. But this Dr. Steve Peters, I said to him, Ronnie, technically there's nothing wrong with your game at all. It's all in your head. You make your own problems in your head. But he's done a fantastic job. Fantastic job.
I noticed Ronnie's cue actions kind of changed around sort of mid 2000s. That's something you worked on.
Yeah.
Noticed he went from having quite a quick sort of stabby action as a kid, and he's gone for a sort of very long, smooth backswing follow through now. Yeah. Absolutely quite instrumental in his increasing positional control. He was told by somebody that if you got a white here, there, and you've got 2 reds stuck there, and you want to get on those 2 reds. He was taught to do this.
That's what he was taught to do. And there's
now
no
he
no
goes right back and slowly slices through the ball.
pushes through. That is the secret. The other way of describing it is sliding through the ball. Gliding. Just glide the cue through the ball. So we looked at the same shot and I said, well look, just push the cue through the ball. Well, he said, you can't stop the white. But I'm going back now to about 2000, well, at least 10, 14 years ago. So I said to him, no, just do this look. I said, no, it's your white. Don't go on anywhere. And you control it. And I said, you come across this a lot with different people. Especially if you're taught by a pro, he will tell you to play the way he plays. But then Joe Blogg's next to him and plays that differently. So, as a coach, you have to go with the player.
And it's those sort of shots I love watching him play because he can get through the cue so well.
There's two shots I like watching him play, and that's from about here, screwing back off the black. His cue comes back to here and just goes, just like that, straight through. And back it comes. And when he's playing a long pot as a run through, he does exactly the same delivery. And when he's got that push into the ball, it makes such a difference. Because the way to feel how easy it is stand up like I do and just push the ball up and take it back. Okay? Now if you do that a moment, if we're anywhere near right, that should feel so easy. Stand up, that's it. Just look down on it. That's a freedom everywhere. The secret is getting that into it as we get lower. So try going a little bit lower. And you've got reasonable amount of power there, you see. Bit lower down. Not down the white, no, the lower bottom. Good. Okay. And from the back of the swing, try and give it a bit more push. That's it. Okay. So, if we put this ball here, and we've got that red there, okay, get down just enough to be able to sight the top. And then try and deliver that cue exactly the same way as you just did. That's it. Then see how much, what you get out of the cue ball. Okay. Bring the white back to you with it. We're not worried about the pot at the moment. Okay. Now you're going to stun the ball in. Okay. But we want to try and get that same delivery. Too slow. That was slower than you've been doing it. Now, I don't know if you know this or not, but you are guessing left-hand side on the cue board.
Yeah, I've got it.
It's safer to put a little bit of right. A bit of left is deadly because you'll check the white off the cushion.
Yeah. Well, I'm trying to hit centre ball, but I think I'm up a bit and not delivering it straight there.
So just to you, see if it's like a tiny tad of right hand side. Let that cue go free. That's it. And with practice, if you wanted a different reaction altogether, you just change the stop on the white. But it's getting that freedom into it. Because if you want to smash a pack off the blue, and you want to blast them all over the top of the table, you've got to deal with the cue like you did when you were stood up. The minute we get down, tension seems to come in. We've got to lose that to get that cue going through quite freely. Okay. So if we've got a shot like this, you here, got a red there, okay. The three colours, well the colours are on their spots. Okay. So which colour would you play for from this red? You've got to clear the table. Probably the blue. Correct. Okay then. So now the shot is to pop the red and screw back onto the right side of the blue. And this should be effortless. That's good news. That's good news. See? So now we try and control it. See? Okay, we come it again. So we're coming in at slower speed now, which means we use more of our fingers.
So to get the same action on.
To get the same sort of, it's a bit like we run it more like a, instead of a fast racing car coming at it, we run it like a steamroller. And the way to do that is we strengthen up here and we just sort of squeeze firmly and push through with these. Feel the fingers pushing into the butt as you push through slowly. That's controlling the shot. See? So there is a technical change there in order to be able to do it in low power, but still get the reaction. So put your hand like that a moment on that cushion for me. The other hand is on the boogie knuckles. See, if I come in without much grip back here, that stops me, this hand slides up. No grip. So I've got to come in with a little squeeze. Okay, that's just enough to move it. But if you put resistance there against me, I can't get any further because I haven't got enough grip back here. So now I squeeze the cue harder and push through. And that will give you the reaction to no speed. Okay, so you can do that to my hand now and feel the same thing yourself. Yeah, use that hand, not this. So you come in with a very loose grip, first of all. And that will stop you if your hand slides up the cue, okay? Now you come in again with a little more grip. That's it. Now you can push me a little bit, you see? So now more squeeze and use your fingers to start the cue off. That's it. Push a bit stronger. That's it. Getting that feeling right there. See? So again, I remember I said to you earlier on about the shot where we can change the angles of the outside. Now, yellow and green are gone, you're on the brown there. If you played a screw shot to get onto the blue, do you think you might go in off?
Yeah, I'm back side and left.
Okay then. Now, if you cue the cue ball in the stun position, then cue it in the screw position, then go in between the two and play a screw shot, your right should come back across this line.
Yeah.
But a lot of people use side to try and get that. And there's no need. Give it a try.
Okay. If I played this shot, I think I could actually get it to like there. So I have to force it quite a bit.
Mm-hmm.
That's probably not what you're saying, though, is it?
Yeah, if you get it that far up, you're forcing it quite a lot. A little bit lower down will bring it much easier into this line here. We just don't want to go anywhere near there.
Yeah.
Okay? Follow through again is very important here. So see how you get on.
Cue right across that one, let's work.
Okay. But you're cueing the white in one place and then striking it in another.
Am I?
Yeah.
So if you're going to go down or something, that
So let me come around there a moment. Okay. Cue it in the screw position for me. You're not going to strike the white, okay? Right, now without bringing the cue away from the ball, show me the stun position. Now show me between the two. There. That's where you want. You were down in the screw position. Okay. Okay, so that's a fraction too high. Okay? So all you do now is find a fraction lower. It depends on the person. Just when they strike it. So a fraction lower than last time. Yeah, your cue's gone way up in the air at the back.
yeah.
Ball push right through the white, push it out of the way. Still too high. Okay? Now this time, when you're ready to pop the brown, you're not going to look at the brown, you're going to look at the white. Look at the white now. That's what we're after.
Oh.
So you were cueing the right place, but striking slightly different because you have no power in that. And that's where it tends to go wrong.
Yeah, I've got 3 little knots of icing.
Okay. So play it again, looking at the white again. If you could afford to be a whisker higher up the ball. Now look at the white. That's more like it. Now we'll see if you can do that when you look at the brown. That's good. A little bit low, as you see, where it goes. Right, I'm going to put you here on the blue. Right, let me see you go about clearing the table, clearing the colours. Okay?
Mine, the yellow and blue.
Pop the blue, get onto the yellow. Okay?